Hey everybody, this is Ryan Mallory, and we're going to talk about investing in the Tesla stock, symbol TSLA. This is one of the most requested stock symbols that I've had over the last few weeks. Everybody wants to know, hey, what do you think of Tesla? Should I buy it? Should I sell it? How high do you think it's going to go? Where should I put a stop loss at? That's what I'm going to talk about today and more. I want to look at the short-term chart, I want to look at the long-term chart, and then just give you a general feel for risk management on the trade and my own personal thoughts on it. Now, here's the thing. I know that Tesla creates a lot of passion in people, from the technology to the stock itself. So bear with me on this, because you may get mad at some of the things that I say about the stock. That doesn't mean that it can't go higher. That doesn't mean it won't go lower. It's okay to have opinions. If you're trying to make money in the stock market, it's good to listen to people that you can trust and their opinions. I'm not going to be mad. Regardless of what I have to say, I want you to do good in the stock market and I want you to succeed. So let's go through this whole chart together. Let's talk about the stock and see what we can get out of it. Like I said already, Tesla is one of the most popular stocks out there, but it comes with a couple of caveats. The guy's a genius. Elon Musk, their CEO, he is brilliant. He's one of the greatest minds of our times. However, he's a little bit crazy with the tweets. You don't know what he's going to say, what he's going to do. And that gives you a little bit pause as a trader, as an investor, probably more so as an investor, because as a trader, you're hoping that you don't get caught up in that in the short term. But as in the long term, you're going to face some of that because he does some crazy things. And just so you know too, I don't have a position in Tesla. Okay, I don't have any shares in the stock. I'm not long, I'm not short. I'm going to just give you an unbiased opinion of it. If I think it's good, I would tell you it's good. If I think it's bad, I would tell you it's bad. That's what I'm here to do. I'm giving you an unbiased opinion. But just in case you're not familiar with what's been going on of late, let's go review some of these tweets. And let me tell you, this is just tweets in the past week. The first one is, I think the Tesla stock is too high in my opinion. He's a CEO. CEOs don't say that, okay? When he said that on May 1st, the stock was trading at 762. It went as low as 683. It dropped over 10%. Guys, for me as a trader, I can't handle that. I'm not gonna be trading a stock that I could immediately lose 10% on because some CEO thinks his own stock is too high. He also had another tweet that says, I'm gonna sell almost all my physical possessions. I will own no house. Okay, that's cool. I mean, are you gonna sell any like stock certificates in Tesla that you might have on hand? I don't know, but it's worth asking. He also let us know that his girlfriend's mad at him. Thanks, I wasn't really looking for that. But still, kind of erratic behavior here, okay? And then he says he wants to put Minecraft on the Tesla vehicles. Or maybe turn in the Tesla car into a Super Mario Kart video game. And then finally, congratulations to him, he had a kid. I don't know how crazy that kid's going to be about his name. I don't even know how to pronounce it. I'm just gonna put it up there for you to see it. What is that? I'm not sure, but I would love to be a fly on the wall when the teacher has to pronounce his name on the first day of kindergarten. And I'd be remiss if I didn't bring up the tweet from a while back where he actually said, looking to take Tesla private at 420, funding secured. That even got the SEC involved. So guys, I'm not trying to rehash old news or just try to poke fun of the guy. I'm really not. I'm just trying to show you there's some tweet risk out there, okay? We talk about headline risk, about, you know, companies like Boeing that seem to just be like a glutton for bad news of late. And so if you're going to trade it and hold it overnight, you could wake up to some really bad news. It's the same thing with Tesla, except you don't have headline risk, you have tweet risk. What that means is that at any given point in time, he could be stoned or he could be high, or maybe he's sober, who knows? But he could say something that just completely throws the stock into a complete mess. Just like what he did on May 1st. The thing dropped 10%. Probably took a lot of people out of their stops, probably took a lot of traders out of their positions. They're probably really mad about that, and then the stock goes right back up. Okay, I get it, you know, the stock has been pretty resilient of late, but still, for those traders who are trying to manage risk, it doesn't do them any favors when the stock just drops 10% instantly, takes them out of a trade for it to only go back up again. So with all that said, let's go ahead and look at this chart on Tesla. First off, this has been one of the most interesting charts, and if you go back to some of my stock market crash updates, I talked about Tesla a lot, and I said, hey, any kind of pullback, and this would probably be a dream scenario, would be a pullback to this major price level here where it broke out back in December of last year. It broke out and then it pulled back to that breakout level, and it's bounced ever since. It worked out perfectly technically. I actually like the stock from a technical basis. It breaks out well, it pulls back and holds support well, it struggles at resistance like you would expect a stock to. The time to have gotten into it, if you're looking to play the momentum, would have been on this little bull flag pattern right here. That bull flag pattern was really impressive. It consolidated nicely and then it broke to the upside. That would have been the optimal time to get long on the stock. Yes, it pulled back and it bounced off the support plate. It's still pretty risky considering the environment that we were in with the stock market, with the coronavirus. So there was a lot of reason to believe maybe it doesn't even hold that support level. But it did, and it bounced really hard. And then when you got that bull flag consolidation pattern, that's where you would have wanted to get long at. Now, and it's been consolidating almost for a month now, right below this resistance level. Now, this resistance level has been very key. It tried to break out through a gap. It gapped above the resistance level, but gave back all of those gains. And when it gave back all of those gains, it stuck the price right back underneath resistance again. So what do we have here? Well, we have the stock going right back into resistance here at 781. What it needs here is a solid break over 805. If it does that, there's a good chance that we could see price push back into the thousands again, maybe even beyond. But all of this is in light of a short-term position. You're trying to play the momentum. You're trying to play the breakout. Do you get long as an investor on Tesla at 781? No, you'd want to wait for a pullback, especially in the kind of market that we're in. Guys, this is a really bad economy. We've got jobless claims that are going to be north of 30 million people. So what does that mean? Yes, the Fed's putting a lot of money into the economy. Yes, Congress is doing a lot of stimulus packages. However, that doesn't mean that the market is out of the woods yet. And there's a good chance, and I believe this to be true, we're going to go test those lows from March and we're probably going to break through them again. What does that mean for Tesla? It probably means it's going to pull that stock price down at some point too. It may not be tomorrow and it may not even be next week. We just don't know. So if you're trading Tesla in the short term, yes, you want to ride that momentum on the breakout, get over 804, 805, then it's breaking out. You want to get long at that point. However, do you want to be investing for years and years to come with a price basis of 804, 805? No, you don't. Instead, what I would do is I would look at some of these weekly charts here and try to find a good entry price. And you're going to have to be patient. You're going to have to wait and see if the market does pull back. And if it does, then that's going to be your opportunity to get long on Tesla from a long-term standpoint. So the first one here, you have this trend line going all the way back to its founding. I mean, it really started on the first day of trading. This long-term support level has held very well over the years, going all the way back to 2010. So if it retests this level, this would be a dream entry at around 250. Do I think it's going to get there? There's a good chance that it will never see that. A very good chance that it will never see that. However, you're looking as an investor for optimal opportunities. There's things that we have seen over the last few months, over the past year with companies like Boeing. We never thought Boeing was going to drop as far as it did. And I'm not comparing Tesla to Boeing. I'm just saying stocks over the years tend to do some pretty crazy things. We may never see 250 again on Tesla. However, we've talked about this support level here. This is another support level where you could look at getting long at. We tested it back in March. It held and it bounced. Maybe we test it again. But if we test the support level again and we fail, then it's probably going to pull it back to this support level. What's also interesting about this support level, if it does hold, it's also got a short-term rising trend line that is going to probably be around that same area when that happens. Now there's another long-term support level that I would be very cognizant of. It's this one right here. When I draw it, you can see it has held up very well. It's actually below the longest trend line on the chart. But if we end up breaking these three support levels, there is a possibility that we could see 190, 195. Again, I think those are very difficult levels to achieve, and things are going to have to take a dramatic turn in the economy. What I'm trying to do in this video is not trying to down your positions in Tesla if you already have them. I'm trying to give you an unbiased look at the stock itself. What are the possibilities? What are the scenarios to be looking at, and where could it go down to? I don't think it's going to go down to 190, and I think there's a good chance it won't go down to 250. However, stock prices, like I've said, can do some pretty crazy things when panic starts to hit Wall Street. And so I think the big one is probably to see if can you get a retest of this 350, 360 level. If it does, that would probably be a good place to create a starting position. Now, going back to the short term, we talked about this resistance level overhead that it's been testing. It tried to break out last week, couldn't do it. But you also have this little short-term rising support level that it's tested on 3 occasions, and that has held up really well. So from a short-term trading standpoint, you've got support underneath, and if you can break through this resistance, you have another support level underneath. It's also a triangle pattern, and these triangle patterns can create some great upside moves. But also be aware, if this triangle pattern breaks to the downside, there's not a lot of support underneath. You have a little bit at 565, you have a little bit more at 457, but there's not a ton of support. So it could see an acceleration in price if some key support levels are violated in the near term. So those are all risk levels to consider. Like I said, if it breaks out and let's say it fails like it did last week, well then maybe have a stop loss below this 684, 683 level. Maybe you say to yourself, hey, I'd rather see if this gap here can fill from April. If that gap fills and we keep pushing lower, then I want to get out at that point. That's another legitimate place to put a stop loss at. So there's multiple places that you can put your stop loss at based off of your risk tolerance. In the end, anything can happen in this kind of a market that we're in. We're in a global economic shutdown. I get that Tesla is a very beloved stock. I'm intrigued by it. I've considered buying a Tesla myself. However, that doesn't mean that I fall in love with the stock because I like their vehicles or I like their technology. No, I have to be cognizant of what the actual stock price is doing. What is the chart telling me to do? But what I've done is I've laid the groundwork for you as a trader or an investor to be able to pick your price points of where you want to get long at. If you're just trading for the short term, then you might want to play the breakout. If not, then you're an investor and you want to wait for a good pullback. But the two are completely different, okay? So don't intermingle the two. If you're wrong as a trader and the stock price breaks down on you, don't turn it into a long-term investment because your entry price will not be a good one. Instead, follow your stop loss, wait for that pullback to the breakout level that I've already outlined, going back to December, and try to get into an entry price there. No matter if you're bullish or bearish on the stock, this is a super hyped stock. It's up there with like Beyond Meat and plenty of other stocks that are just constantly seeing a lot of retail traders jumping into this trade, hoping for some big money down the road, thinking that they're getting into something very rare. It's a very crowded trade, especially at the 800 level. So you have to be guarded against that, because if it does start plunging, you could see a snowball effect of people wanting to get out of the stock. And most often it's these very hyped up stocks that crash the hardest. So be careful. I hope that this thing goes up to 2,000 for you. Okay, I want it to do well for you. But know the risks. Know the risks on every trade that you ever get into. And always know where you're going to get out at if the stock trade doesn't work for you. Hey, if you like this video, I ask that you like and subscribe to it. I'm continuing to put out a lot of great content for you guys. And I want you guys to be as informed as possible when you're trying to trade these very difficult markets. I appreciate your support. I appreciate the feedback. Let me know what you think of the Tesla stock. Are you long? Are you short? What do you think? What do you think about what I've just told you? Do you have any questions about it? Do you have any questions about the risk parameters that I've laid out? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you. God bless.